Amore Pete's King, serving Rockville since 1972. Dine in, carry out, or drive up window. Come and see us. Thank you, Rockville, for 50 years of business.
You guys want to remove your hats?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, Johnny Wilhite's not here, so.
Just a couple updates. Appraisals on 402 South Jefferson and 304 Howard Avenue have been ordered. I think I'll have those in the next week or so. Next court date's August 23rd for ordinance violations, and that's all I really have.
Good. I've asked you this before, but what's the criteria for nuisance properties?
So it's a pretty long statute, but it can be, overgrowth, trash and debris. That's one of the ones that sometimes we'll cite if there's like broken windows or broken doors or attractive nuisances to children, things like that. It can also be property that is such a perpetual state of construction or deconstruction that it affects the property value of its neighbors. So those, there's like A through Q in that statute of different things that meet it, but those are the most common ones.
Okay. Well, the only reason I'm asking, I had a resident on Howard Avenue reached out to me, so.
All right. Generally, the process on that is they have to call and make a complaint to law enforcement or the building commissioner, and they inspect and determine whether or not they think there's a violation. If there is a violation, they normally give them a time period to abate the nuisance, and if they don't, then it gets turned over to me, and I go through the court process with it. So the place they would want to start would be law enforcement or the building inspector if it's a building related issue.
Okay.
But if it's just yard or things like that, that's law enforcement.
Okay. All righty, well, that's all you got?
Yep.
Good, you're up.
The first thing I have is I received a letter for free communication boards. All we have to do is post it on like our Facebook and Twitter account, so that if we deal with somebody who has some kind of disability that they're not able to communicate with us, whether it be like autism, some kind of mental illness, handicap, or they just don't speak English very well, and they can point to these boards and we can communicate with them. And there's a little training video that comes with it. We post on there where we got them on our Facebook and Twitter. And then we get these items for free that helps us deal with that. So, and once again, no cost. So,
Very good.
the next thing I have is a request for transfer of funds for the part-time officer. I think you guys received the letter from Randy about transferring the money from where Hannah had not been employed for the first part of the year to cover the overage of the part-time and to get us through the rest of the year. She does fill in a lot, but sometimes we'll have cases where somebody's off on vacation, somebody may call in sick, or we may get called and said, hey, you got to be in court tomorrow. So we got to have somebody else to cover those shifts.
So what do you need for that?
I'll make a motion that we move the money, reappropriate.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next, TriCappa gave us a generous donation of $1,395. I was asking for an additional appropriation of $1,005 out of the firearms for firearms equipment. So that way we can purchase equipment, Glock armor equipment, so that if a weapon breaks down, instead of sending it away, we can hopefully get that fixed right here on location, get the weapon back sooner. We're not waiting as long. Also, if somebody gets in a shootout, we have to send those weapons to state police, and it can take several months to get our weapons back, so it'd be nice to have a weapon on standby for something like that, or we've had weapons that have broken that have had to been fixed, and it's nice to have an officer, you know, have a weapon if we run into that.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, I have two, actually I guess more. My first item that I'm requesting to purchase is a Glock holster for a Gen 5 with a light. You have to have a different holster with whatever light you have on your weapon. These are light specific. This will make the reaction time for the officer a little bit quicker whenever they're dealing with the suspect. It will also help them maintain the security of that light so that it's not lost. It's $164.15 at Nelson's.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So Exhibit A is our evidence program that we have, and there's a license that we pay every year, and it comes due around the end of June, beginning of July. It's $100, and we're requesting that so that we may continue logging evidence.
How about if I just make a motion to approve the next two, this one and the next one?
That sounds great to me.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions?
No, I don't know if this is a good time, maybe Bill can speak to it. The police commission would like to make a recommendation that when we hire a new chief, that he be given 3 weeks of vacation, because if he comes from somewhere else, he's not gonna have any time. And we felt like it was commensurate with what we gave Jeff, so it would be more appealing to somebody other than coming and saying, you're not gonna have any time for a year, since that position can't get comp time or overtime. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was, we would like to recommend that once once Randy's done and he's acting chief, we bump his pay to that of the chief's pay while he's interim chief. That's what we did before with the other time you were interim chief. Did we not?
None of this is gonna take place before our next meeting, right? I would rather table this till the full board's here.
Okay.
Randy leaves
Last,
the 21st.
So yes, it will take place before.
But I suppose you could vote to apply it retroactively at the future meeting, and he'd just have to be compensated to be on the whole of the vote.
I mean, it's nothing against you, Bill. I just would rather have the full board's vote on this, just.
I guess I had a question. With the whole 3 week thing, if I were to apply and get it, would that, because I think I have more than 3 weeks currently.
I would assume we would just leave you where you are. It would
Okay.
be somebody that was coming in with nothing. I'm just the
So,
messenger.
could we
Might
vote
be a
this?
motion to make after you've decided who the new chief is, more than,
Well, it's just something that we want to bring up as, I think there perhaps have been questions about it, maybe from my understanding.
Well, I don't think there'll be any issues. I would just rather have the full board.
Yep.
I mean, if we can.
Yeah, I don't think anything's happening.
no, as far as compensation for him, you could retroactively do that, if that's what you end up doing.
That works for me.
To current salary, right?
Is that all you have, Bill?
That's all I have.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Yep, our milling starts tomorrow on segments of our streets: Indiana, Poplar, John Kirkpatrick, South Michigan, Elm, South College, and North Howard Avenue. Residents who live on these streets, we ask park well off, make to the sides of the roads, make sure we have room to get our equipment through there and get the paving done. I've been in contact with the school. We'll do the milling on, I think I'm gonna say tomorrow, is when they're gonna do the milling, but they're gonna do it during times not when the buses are running or in the morning or in the afternoon, try to do it in that middle of the day period, which says traffic can still get around the milling machine during that time if they need to. Now for the paving, when they do that, they are gonna wait until after school is out to do that paving around the school. So I think that's pretty well coordinated there. Community Crossings grant application is submitted for North Michigan. I've advertised in the paper for one full-time and one part-time employee. Applications are due 8/22, so hopefully we can get those filled fairly quickly.
We get many applications.
A couple. Water leak on 36, like to thank UMAC for getting that done for us out there. I know that was kind of a tricky one because we couldn't figure out where in the heck it was exactly coming from. It ended up calling in M.E. Simpson and having them try to give us a little bit better idea, which I think was a good call because otherwise we just would have been shooting in the dark. So thank you, fellas. Tie-in for fire suppression system at EMS building is completed. We'll also start doing hydrant flushing the week of the 22nd through the 26th. So residents are advised to be on the lookout for a little discoloration underwater, cloudy water. We advise them just to let it run for a little while and it should clear right up. IMPA is doing more pole replacements. I got a text from Dirk. He'd like to have a meeting just as halfway through the year kind of thing. Steve or Dave or any of the board members you want to get together and meet with us, you're more than welcome to. I'm pretty happy with what they've got going on. They're also going to have a cost estimate for me at some time for the 3-phase extension by Benjamin's to feed the water plant. As far as projects go, our water improvement project, 8/25 is when we get the announcement for that, so we'll be able to make some decisions after it. 41 North Sewer Expansion Project, we will be having a pre-construction meeting and a construction schedule from the contractors, I would say probably in the next three weeks or so. So I'll keep you informed about that. For South Market Street, right away is clear. Like I think Brandy and Kelly Dean from Structure Point, I know those two ladies put a lot of work and time in getting those documents together and getting them pushed through and organized. So thank you for your work on that. Had a utility coordination via Zoom meeting. IMPA and Structure Point will coordinate on power feeds for the Bridge Festival. We want to make sure that we get that in there and get it right and meet with the commissioners to make sure they're on board with what we want to do. Because as we know, the west side of the square is just going to be a template for what we do later on for the south and the east side. So we want to make sure we do it right the first time. As soon as they get some kind of design plan there, we'll get with the commissioners and kind of present that to them and see if we can get their blessing to get it done. On our Jefferson Street project, we're making good progress. Fights is going to be building 5 storm structures, the inlets out of block because they can't get them from the factory on time. And we better just go ahead and do that, and as long as it meets NDOT specs. John Langley, who's the construction inspector for Structure Point, says it's not an issue. Everything else is looking good. Jackson Voorhees Beetle Project. Storm Board has approved the design. The next step will be the cost estimate on that. We did have a question on whether or not the town wanted to investigate sewers at that same time also. And I think we talked about maybe briefly at the last meeting, but I don't know that I got anything clear. We'll wait till Park comes back and I'll bring it up again. I know we do have camera footage from that area that Structure Point did prior to the sewer project. And Lee, you were right, we did do a section on Voorhees that was cure in place down toward Howard Avenue. Looked like it was not a real long section, but just shooting off Voorhees. I don't have anything new on the water extension project. The charging station information is in progress with IMPA, doing some of the engineering work. I know UMAC is going to be working on the hydrant replacements and the water main repair on Martin Street. Also, I don't have anything new on the blower replacement. For the parks, the decorative light replacement at Beechwood Park, we do have the materials. I'm just waiting to free up my electric department so we can get out there and get some of those changed. Fast-paced urgent care project, both were approved by the storm board and the town council, so that one is getting ready to roll as well. And other than that, folks, you guys have anything?
You said something to me about a leak on Voorhees, is that something you want to say?
Hydrant, leaky hydrant.
Yeah.
We tried to do a fix on that in a couple different places. I think Tony's tried to tighten it and use the plug and it just, it's old. It just needs to be replaced. All right.
I got one thing I want to back on market. I sent you an email, you and Ken Olson.
Yes, I saw that.
I suggest they reach out to Centerpoint
Yep.
on that.
I've been in touch with Bloomingdale Home Telephone. Chuck has called me a couple times, and I know he's concerned about relocations down through there also.
Yeah, I talked to him today also.
Yeah.
Those were the two I was concerned about because I know Centerpoint they'll engineer their own stuff in there. They're gonna have to do it pretty quick, so. I give you the name of the engineer is on that email, so one of the two of you probably ought to reach out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll make sure that we do. Anything else, folks? Oh, I just jumped right into it. If you want to keep these for reference, I'm sorry. Brain death.
One for Lisa.
Well, is that all you got there?
That's all I got.
Yeah. Brandon?
Okay, I've got claims.
Don't mess this up for us.
What?
Don't mess this
I'm on a roll.
up.
Claims in the amount of $632,250, and since Park isn't here, I will kind of note that South Market, we have a lot of those right-of-way clearances there, and we do have a portion of the payment to the Fuchs contractors working on Jefferson and York Street there, so that's, claims are a little bit more, but
Motion to approve. Shall we pause for a moment?
Sure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Square up fees for the pool, we do have to have those credit card fees, there's $41.27 to be approved when people use a credit card at the swimming pool.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I received a letter from the county that they would like the town to select an individual to participate as a member of their planning team for the hazard mitigation plan.
That's that thing from Chris O'Brien.
Yeah, and I don't think the meeting back in, was there anybody appointed? That was the one that,
No,
Okay.
we're gonna think about it.
okay, so there's.
What is it, 4 meetings in 18 months?
Yes, planning team will be expected to, 4 meetings over an 18-month period.
What is it?
Each
The
meeting will
hazard
be approximately
mitigation.
2 hours. The team will review information, discuss ways to reduce risk from hazards in our community. They're asking for a participant from the town to be part of that plan project.
I'll happily do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and speaking of committees, some members of the town would like to create this committee for creation of an alley mural. They all already have committee members that have stepped up to be part of that. Colleen Engel from the foundation, Mary Nicola from GNM, Sandy Bemis from Main Street, Cindy Todd from Partnership Park County, Rita Jacks is the artist, and there's a Lynn Lee, which is the Park County Library. She would also like for Mandy Lentz to be the liaison for Rockville as part of that committee members. And they just wanted me to bring that up to your attention to see if anybody had any input or anything else. You were all okay with them creating this committee.
What
It's gonna be probably a couple of years
What
before,
alley?
behind
G&M.
G&M, that whole,
They're
and
wanting
they're
to paint the
working
back of
with,
the buildings.
they're working with all of the business owners down through there, but, if anybody had any objections to
I
that.
don't have any objections to it,
Sorry.
unless you wanna be on it.
No,
I
it's
don't
okay.
need you.
I'm not terribly artistic.
Okay. No.
Okay, so
I have
I will
no
let them know
objections.
that that's fine. The only other thing is, I did note, several months ago, we did speak about the Bridge Festival hookup, and now I've had some people actually asking. That hookup fee for electric has been $60. Previously, months ago in a meeting, and it was mentioned possibly maybe increasing that to $75. I just kind of need a decision on if you want to increase that and make a motion to have that documented so we can start moving forward. We've had 2 people wanted to go ahead and pay their hookup fees.
I'm okay with it.
Do you need a motion?
Please.
I'll make that motion. Cut fee be $75.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
second
All
Now,
in
is this
favor?
a non-refundable deposit hookup fee?
Well, I don't think it states that it's necessarily non-refundable.
No,
We
I just-
haven't had any issues with
Okay.
anybody. I mean, I would say if somebody paid a hookup fee and something happened and they were unable to participate in the festival, we would reimburse them that fee. I mean, prior to hookup, obviously, for the event. Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Ronnie, do you want to?
All I want to talk about was the leak on, out there in front of 36. The reason we called that company in was there was a tile underneath the main, and all the water was coming out of it. But I've been hearing rumors of people saying that you can't find water leaks, and they're gonna get somebody else, and all this crap. So I just wanted to let everybody know that's the reason we called the company in, because with that tile being there, that leak could have been, in front of G&M, it could have been wherever. So that's why we called the list company in. I'm sorry it took us a few days to get it all in, I just wanted to clarify that.
Hey, I want to mention the condition of that water line too.
That main is bad. As we dug it up and exposed, it was a jagged crack. And I had to jump down in there and grab a grinder, because as we were uncovering it, I could see it starting to just splinter out as we went, so we put a couple marks in it.
What is it?
Stole ductile iron.
It must be really old.
It's old. As a matter of fact, Rob Wiley and Dad was with me, and they said that's probably some of the oldest they've seen, put it that way. So just for the record, there's.
So does that mean there could be more leaks in the future? Is that
But
what I'm hearing?
it was, I've never had one sit there and start spidering out as I was trying to sit there and clean it up for leak cleanup on. So like I said, we notched it real quick and was able to.
Any other issues you want to talk about? Or?
No, Troy and I would like to sit down and write up something of procedures of water leaks and stuff, just so we don't get forgotten about being noticed, or notified, and board orders and stuff. I don't think we knew anything about the one going on when they made the fire line tap. Did you know anything about it?
No.
We just need to make sure we know that. But I was gonna get with Jeff and see if we can just get something that he can relay to the guys of how we need to do it.
We are mapping that stuff, aren't we, Jeff? Okay.
Oh, and I've got, Jeff, I got pictures of that prepared. I can email you for the records.
Are you saving pictures, Jeff? Like if we take pictures of stuff
Yeah, you can forward it on to me.
on the mail with
Yeah.
the subject?
Yeah, that was just one text too. Text, say,
Speaking of water leaks, so was that the one over at the ambulance?
Yes.
Because I was told to post that as a boiler. I've never gotten a lifted. So Jeff, do you have a water sample that's clean on that? I knew it wasn't going to be before the weekend because they wouldn't do a sample Friday, but I didn't know if we had a sample that went today so that we can lift that.
No, we should have.
I sent a sample, well, the ones that you brought,
You should have had the results.
36, And I haven't seen anything from them yet either.
Because I didn't have anything from them, and I typically, from you guys, they always send them to you, I
Right.
don't get those. So I assume that you guys got those. I'll call up there tomorrow and ask them.
I just don't have anything, but if that came back good, I'd like to lift that as soon as possible, because
Yeah.
I had a couple of contacts over the weekend and advised them that it'd still be a good idea to go ahead and
I looked
continue.
again before I came here, to make sure I didn't have anything, and that's what I was gonna ask Jeff, if he got any results.
Nope.
Would that be coming from Montgomery County?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've noticed if my email is on the document when it's sent, I will get the email request, but there was some pool samples that I wasn't on, so I didn't get those back. So that could have been, depending on, if you could just check it and let me know,
I'll
and
call first thing in the morning.
thank you.
But yeah, just so everybody knows that on boil orders and stuff like that, anytime a main gets below 20 pounds or it's cut apart, there's gotta be a boil order.
Jeff, you should have the results Friday.
I'm looking back through here and
A leak on 36, we didn't shut anything off, so.
Yeah, I was only asked about the one on the emails.
I'll call, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Bruce, you got anything to add, or you let them talk?
So spending money, Bruce?
Get ready to. I do have a sludge pump that's been broke for a couple of weeks. I had Graves come out and look at it, and they made the determination that the pump is so old, I pumped from one digester to the other one. I got a small one and I pump into my big one to hold it. Well, it's about 3/4 of the way full, and the pump is so old now that it can't overcome the head pressure and pump the sludge into the big tank. So they haven't really made a determination if it's a pump that's worn out, if it's a motor, or I'm still waiting for them to get back with me, so,
Okay, can't wait.
yeah. It's pretty old.
Yeah.
They put it in,
3 times.
probably 24 years ago, at least.
Let's have a good life then.
Yeah, it's,
Well, is there any old business we want to talk about? John?
Parking on the north side of the courthouse, there in front of Jim's writing, all that. Is there a way we could change that, make that just small car parking?
I believe that's gonna be the state. I don't know that for a fact, but, that's probably who I would reach out to.
Because there's times that
Oh, I know, especially when you get a, you know.
Is it easier to ask for forgiveness than permission?
You wanna make a motion? I mean, that's something that I would say Jeff needs to probably get a hold of the DOT on
I can find out.
and see what we can do.
And then, I had a thought on our building down there, that we could use it for storing our pipe, so our pipe's not outside. Cause that plastic pipe, when it sits out in the sun for so long, it starts to deteriorate.
Yeah. I don't have any issues with that. I mean, you're talking about after we move?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see where that'd be a problem.
I'm not so sure that we ain't got enough room really, that
Yeah.
they have to use some of it for parking. Won't know until we get moved.
Yeah. Anybody else? Pat?
I just had one quick thing. I got a letter from the town about a week or so ago. I opened it and found out that I had a $50 fine for alarm going off. It's been paid, there's the receipt, so that's not the issue. The issue is if there's now going to be a fee schedule on that, I think that a letter should go to the businesses so we know that. It was a real treat to open that envelope and go, whoa, you owe $50. it's just good business, it's not, the $50 is gonna break me, but I think it's just good, efficient business if we get a letter that says there is now a policy and it goes da-da-da-da-da, without the false alarm 20 or whatever, but.
Yeah, I understand. Yep.
Because I got a call at home when I got the alarm went off, because they always call me. So I got in the car and came right down. I did not see an officer anywhere around. I didn't see a police car on the street. I sat outside for a little bit, and then I went in the building, and obviously there was no problem. Everything was okay. But I just think we could be a little more thorough, a little more businesslike with it.
I'm sure we can get something wrote up and get it out to the business owners.
I'd be appreciated.
Well, thank you. Anybody else?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.